interesting there. Now, gentlemen, we are familiar that in the course of this week, the Supreme Court has had to ask the Electoral Commission to put a hold on its registration of voters exercise, which should have started yesterday. And this, was made because there are 3 people who are before the court who are asking the court to strike down a portion of CI 72, which provides, among others, the list of documents one needs to present at a registration center to be able to register to become a voter. The list includes a National Identification Authority card, your passport, your driver's license, and the argument of these 3 individuals, Dansue Champong, Abu Ramadan, and Nimakon, is that the inclusion of the NHIS card is wrong, because the NHIS card does not indicate a person's nationality. The NHIS card is available to foreign nationals. All you need is to stay in Ghana for 6 months and you can access it. If you allow them to use it to go to the registration center to be captured, then in the process, you are going to have foreigners voting as Ghanaians, which is a sin against Article 42 of the 1992 Constitution, which provides that one can vote if he's a Ghanaian, or she is a Ghanaian, is 18 and of sound mind. I'll start with you, Kwaku.
Well, I like the idea that we have citizens in this land who have decided to test the law, to use the law, to ensure that the right thing, of course, in their opinion, is done. At least that effort itself strengthens the democratic culture that we all fought to install. So I salute those 3 citizens and their legal support base. But the substance of the case, of course, will be determined by the courts.
Right.
Except that this, the order to the EC to stop the adverts,
right,
was described by one of the judges as a
impunity.
Justice, yeah, an act
Justice
of
dossier.
Yes, yes, and I think that should be a wake-up call to the EC. I have always, in principle, backed the EC. I think they've done quite well in terms of the history of our democratic exercise, with some slippages here and there, unfortunate one being the 2012 election outcome. But whatever it is, I think it was clear, it should have been clear to them that continuing to run the adverts was really not the proper thing to do. So I'm happy the court has put a stop to it.
Right.
I do not want to, instinctively, and this I believe will not be contempt of court, instinctively I'm for the case of the plaintiffs. Yes, I think it's better. It's to clean our act. You see, we shouldn't sow seeds of potential discord. Come 2016, we should have an election devoid of rancor, of acrimony. We need it. So the earlier we begin today to clean our act, the better for this country. Okay?
All right.
Relative to the registrar and all these things. This is the time that we should build a consensus, drive the next election in a very clean, clear, free, fair manner. So this court action is a very positive initiative, and I pray and hope that the court will rule in favor of the plaintiffs. I haven't committed contempt.
Not at all. You are not close to it. Now, Charles, you're a lawyer. The case of the defendants, that is the Electoral Commission and the Attorney General, but I mean, strictly speaking, is the Electoral Commission which is fighting it. Their case is that the plaintiffs have gotten it wrong. They are saying that before one is issued the registration form to go through the process to register to become a voter, he must show at that point that he is qualified. You get the constitutional injunction that you are qualified by way of citizenship as a Ghanaian. If you can't show that, you should not be even allowed to attempt to go through the process. The Electoral Commission says you are getting it wrong. At that point, we are only seeking to identify them. We don't really need to get their citizenship. And that the Electoral Commission's process has, verification processes, has challenge processes in all of it. So that at the end, if the person is not a citizen, somebody, when the register is exhibited, somebody will come and challenge them.
Yes, I think that both the Electoral Commission and the plaintiffs are all singing from the same hymn book.
Sure.
Why do I say this? You see, it is about the credibility of the voters' register. The Electoral Commission wants to ensure that nobody who is qualified is left out. So that if you have people who are qualified left out, it raises questions about the credibility of the register. The plaintiffs at the other side also want to ensure that nobody who is not qualified has been registered. That's the foreigners. So it's about the credibility of the voters' register. So that's the whole idea. I would not want to go into the substance of who has a better case or who doesn't have a better case. Like you and I know, that will be sub judice. But I think that we need to look at Article 42 very carefully. Article 42 is very clear that every citizen of Ghana who is of 18 years and above
And
of sound mind has a right to vote and is entitled to be registered to so vote. Now, so that right has been created. All you need to do is that to show that you are a citizen of Ghana. To show that you are a citizen of Ghana. So if you are a citizen of Ghana, where is the proof that you are a citizen of Ghana? That is where, the case of the plaintiffs come in. But we have to look at the larger issue. Why has this arisen? It appears to me that as a nation, we have not taken national identification as a very serious matter. In the neighboring countries, Togo, Burkina Faso, Ivory Coast, those parts, national identification is crucial. I used to visit Togo a number of times. And if there is any incident on the road, when the gendarmerie come, the first thing they ask you is carte d'identité, your national ID card. So almost everybody carried a national ID card. That is not the situation in this country. And that is why we have landed ourselves here. I believe that the Supreme Court will come out with a decision.
That is Wednesday. It's not far away.
Yes, will come out with a decision that will ensure that nobody is disenfranchised. That will also ensure that we do not unnecessarily put people who ought not to register onto the voters register.
Right. Well, in fact, in respect of the injunction that has been placed on them, it's actually an order from the court that they shouldn't continue with the process whilst the case is pending. The court was minded to hear the arguments on Thursday and give its ruling that same day. Unfortunately, things dragged a bit, and then he had to postpone it. Other than that, the plaintiffs had actually put in an application for interlocutory injunction to stop the process whilst the case was going on. Yeah. But the court felt that there's no need to grant that injunction when we are going to hear the case before the registration process starts. But unfortunately, this is where we found ourselves. Yes. What do you say about the plaintiff's case that if the EC says that this is only for purposes of identification, and one should not be required to show on the face before they are giving a paper to begin to go through the process that they are citizens of Ghana. And the EC says they'll go through a verification, there'll be exhibition of voters register, people who feel that if you are not a Ghanaian, but you use your NHIS to come and register, they will challenge you. The plaintiffs say, don't allow that to even happen in the first place. Yes. Because in a party stronghold, somebody may be intimidated. There will not be a challenge at all.
Yes. Well, I think having witnessed suspicious cases in Jomoro, where clearly there were a lot of people who did not seem to be residents of Jomoro voting, the question is there a risk? And for me, I think there is a risk. Does CI 72 give a citizen? Of course, we need to register anybody who turns 18, and of course, we need to register people who are Ghanaian citizens. But does CI 72 give you the right to get on the register with just an NHIS card? That is what I think is at the heart of what the plaintiffs are challenging, and I think they're right to challenge it. I think it's healthy that we should seek to challenge it, and it will be interesting to see what the court decides, because if the court decides that, yes, it's on CI 72, and therefore, how do you amend a situation? Because there are many who felt that there was a risk in the beginning when CI 72 was put through. And can we change it at a later date? How do we change it? You know, because clearly, for me, I think there's a risk. There's a risk that there are people who may not be citizens, and they may not get, and they may get on the register just using an
But that's
NHI,
why you have a duty to challenge them, to go and tell the electoral commissioner that this person whose name you have put on the register, the register is not a Ghanaian.
I don't think that should be the way that we balance this thing. I'm a constituency chairman myself, and I know the problems we have during election time to police the whole process. It's a daunting task, and to put a situation on, let's say, our polling agents or even the constituency organizations or parties or branches to check to make sure that all of these people are not Ghanaian citizens. It's a very, very difficult thing. I don't know how I'll be able to accomplish that in my own constituency to make sure that 600 people registered, some of them may be, you know, where do I begin the process? So I think the law should be clear. It should not rely on some polling agents. It should not rely on some branches to begin to check as to who is a citizen and who isn't. It should be fairly clear. The risk is there, and the court should we hope, rule on it correctly.
Doc, we live in a country where it is very obvious you don't need scientific evidence to show that we certainly may have a good number of people who do not have passports, do not have a driver's license, but because they need health care, they have an NHIS card. Why should they not be allowed to use that as part of the process of getting on the voters register?
Well, it's really a very challenging issue, and I think that as both Kweku and your colleague, the lawyer, said,
running away from contempt, yeah?
Yes,
contempt, especially of the Supreme Court.
No, not even the contempt aspect, but the fact that citizens have courage to contest a matter in court, and I think that it should be, you know, applied to other sectors of the country as well.
There appears to be a growing healthy culture in that direction. People are suing.
From the beginning, when we were talking about the demonstration by organized labor, and we're commenting on the practice and behavior of the police, I am looking forward to citizens challenging the police in court in many respects. You know, so on that score, I think that it's good that they take the matter to court. And the fact that your colleague lawyer also raised a point about the national challenge of getting proper institutions and mechanism for identification, which we are still grappling with. So you have people having multiple ID cards here and there. My curiosity, however, is that are there alternative ways that citizens who may not have the benefit of holding a driver's license and a passport of identifying themselves as citizens?
Or the national authority identification?
Yes. No, I'm just saying beyond the NSA card. Are there other alternative documents beyond, you know, those three documents? The card, the national health insurance card.
If you don't have any
passport,
there's opportunity for, is it two people to come to attest to your citizenship?
Yes, so I'm just saying that perhaps some of those things, if they came earlier and then negotiated, there would be no need for going to court. But that is not to say that going to court is a bad idea. I think it's a good thing, because once the judgment is made, it clarifies the specific procedure that we have to follow.
Right.
So my challenge is that, you know, the problem is coming at a point where the EC itself appeared to be late in getting the register compiled.
Okay.
The test is you have to be a citizen. And,
okay, so you have already taken a position.
Even some of the documents might not tell you your citizenship, apart from the...
Yes, I mean,
apart from
wherever you go in the world.
No, the driver's license also shows your citizenship.
Okay.
Yes.
You have to be a citizen.
NHI, the National Identification Authority card also tells whether you're a citizen or you're just a resident. A driver's license will also say the same. So it is only the NHIS card that doesn't indicate citizenship.
Yeah, so it's a good point to challenge it. So
that is the test. You have to be a citizen. And if you're not, and you can't prove you're a citizen, then some will argue that you don't deserve to be on a register.
Okay, you want to be on the Woolsack. 30th, Wednesday, the judges will do it, led by the Chief Justice herself, who are the panel looking at this particular case. I have tried in my own small way. I've been in court. I've been following the case very keenly. I've tried in my own small way to try and simplify the process, and you can read my article. Just go to joyonline.com. You just click on the news section, and then you see Abu Ramadan et al. Against the EC, and you can read and educate yourself a bit more about it.